Reggae is known for its powerful messages of peace, love, and resistance. But behind the rhythm and the smoke lies a world few have dared to expose. From betrayal and backstabbing to arrests, conspiracies, and dark secrets buried deep in the Caribbean soil. These are the scandals that shook reggae to its core, and the legends who tried to keep them hidden. You thought you knew reggae? Think again. Let's dive into the secrets they never wanted you to hear. Buju Banton. Buju Banton is widely regarded as one of the most prominent musical figures to emerge from Jamaica. His artistic repertoire seamlessly blends elements of dancehall and reggae, resulting in a compelling sound that resonates with audiences globally. Throughout his career, he has collaborated with a diverse array of artists across various genres, including hip-hop, Latin, and punk rock, and has notably partnered with the offspring of Bob Marley. Banton began his career at a young age, releasing his initial singles in 1987. However, it was in 1992 that his trajectory shifted dramatically. That year, he released 2 albums, Stamina Daddy and Mr. Mention, the latter of which achieved unprecedented success, becoming the best-selling album in Jamaican history at that time, and surpassing Bob Marley and the Wailers for the most #1 hits in Jamaica. As his popularity escalated, so too did his influence, with his music often conveying profound messages regarding faith, love, and the realities of life in urban environments. He emerged as a figure of inspiration for many, transcending the role of mere entertainer to become a voice for the marginalized. However, his career faced a significant setback in 2011 when he was convicted of drug trafficking in the United States. This revelation shocked his fan base, as many struggled to reconcile this development with the image of a spiritually grounded artist who had never previously been associated with substance abuse. Initially, his trial resulted in a hung jury. However, U.S. prosecutors subsequently presented additional evidence, including video and audio recordings from an informant. One such recording depicted Banton sampling a white substance in a Florida warehouse, marking a pivotal moment in the case. Ultimately, he was found guilty of conspiracy to distribute the illegal substance and received a 10-year sentence in federal prison. Despite his incarceration, Banton's musical legacy endured. His album Before the Dawn, released in 2010, won a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. After serving 7 years, he was released in December 2018 and made a triumphant return to the music scene. In 2019, he launched the Long Walk to Freedom Tour with his inaugural concert at Kingston's National Stadium, attracting over 30,000 attendees.
Busy Signal. Busy Signal is a prominent Jamaican dancehall artist who has emerged as a significant figure in contemporary reggae music. He made his debut in the early 2000s and quickly garnered attention. In 2005, he released his inaugural single, Step Out, which achieved immediate success. His innovative sound and distinctive vocal style resonated with audiences who appreciated the authenticity of his music. That same year, he launched an album of the same title, Step Out, which solidified his status as a lasting presence in the music industry. Between 2007 and 2008, he produced a series of popular tracks, including Nah Go Jail Again, Smoke Some High Grade, TikTok, and Unknown Number. These songs not only captivated listeners in the Caribbean, but also gained traction in the United States, marking his transition from a dancehall artist to an international star. However, in May 2012, an unexpected event occurred that shocked his fan base. Busy Signal was arrested at Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. The news circulated rapidly, but the subsequent revelation was even more startling. The United States had requested his extradition due to long-standing drug-related charges. This development perplexed many, as Busy Signal had not been publicly associated with substance abuse.
It was later disclosed that in February 2002 he had encountered significant legal issues in the United States, facing charges for 2 drug-related offenses and ultimately being found guilty. He was sentenced to a minimum of 15 years in prison. However, rather than confronting the legal proceedings, he chose to leave the country. For years, this situation remained undisclosed, and his fans were unaware that he was a fugitive in the United States. This revelation contradicted the public persona he had cultivated, which was characterized by a clean image. His music often addressed themes of life struggles and street experiences, yet this incident seemed to reflect a hidden aspect of his past that he may have hoped would remain undiscovered. In June 2012, he was extradited to the United States, where he faced legal proceedings not for the drug-related charges themselves, but for evading law enforcement and failing to appear for bail. Following his release in November 2012, public inquiries persisted regarding the circumstances of his case. In an effort to address these concerns, he participated in an interview in which he asserted his innocence, stating, "I was wrongfully accused of possessing 1.5 kilos of a substance which led to my extradition to the United States and a subsequent 6-month sentence. Initially, I could not have imagined such an event occurring in my life. I felt I had brought shame upon my fans and family. However, that is now behind me and I am back on the right path." Ninja Man. Ninja Man, also referred to as Don Gorgon, is a prominent and contentious figure in the Jamaican dancehall music scene. He garnered recognition for his impactful lyrics, dynamic performances, and a dramatic vocal style. However, beneath the veneer of fame lies a tumultuous life characterized by transformation and concealed truths. His journey commenced at the age of 14, when he began performing as a disc jockey on the Black Culture sound system under the moniker Double Ugly. Subsequently, he joined the renowned Kilimanjaro sound system, where he had the opportunity to learn from established artists such as Supercat and Early B. After a brief period during which he adopted the name Ugly Man, he ultimately settled on the name Ninja Man, which became synonymous with his identity. In 1987, Ninja Man achieved his first significant success with the song Protection, a collaboration with Courtney Melody. Following this breakthrough, he collaborated with several prominent producers, including King Jammy, Philip Fats, Burl, and Steely and Clevie. Ninja Man was particularly noted for his ability to freestyle lyrics spontaneously in the studio, relying solely on his raw energy without the aid of written material. Between 1989 and 1992, he released some of his most notable tracks, including Murder Them, Permit to Bury, Border Clash, and Above the Law. These songs were characterized by their aggressive themes, often centered around violence and gun culture. His on-stage confrontations with fellow artists such as Supercat, Florgon, and Shabba Ranks further intensified his fierce public persona. However, by 1993, the criticism directed at him for allegedly promoting violence began to diminish, leading to a decline in his performance bookings and a withdrawal of support from various producers. In an unexpected turn of events, Ninja Man underwent a significant transformation, rebranding himself as Brother Desmond by 1997 and transitioning to gospel reggae. He professed to have found faith and expressed a desire to abandon his tumultuous past. He also disclosed his struggles with substance addiction, claiming to have achieved sobriety through his newfound Christian beliefs. While this apparent change suggested a positive shift in his life, skepticism persisted among some observers who speculated that this transformation was merely a facade intended to obscure his long-standing lifestyle. The narrative took a darker turn in March 2009 when Ninja Man and his son Janelle were arrested on charges related to the murder of Ricardo Johnson,
a man fatally shot on Mile Road in Kingston. Although Ninjaman was granted bail in 2012, the legal proceedings were fraught with complications. Of the 58 jurors required, only 15 appeared. The court repeatedly postponed the trial, with dates being pushed from 2012 to 2015 and then to 2016. Ultimately, on November 20, 2017, after years of delays, Ninjaman was convicted of murder alongside his co-defendant. Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel is a prominent Jamaican dancehall artist known for his distinctive musical style as well as his provocative public persona and controversial lyrics. His notable singles include Romping Shop, Dancehall Hero, and Summertime. Throughout his career, he has collaborated with various hip-hop and R&B artists including Major Lazer, Rihanna, Missy Elliott, and Alison Hines. Despite his acclaim, Cartel has been embroiled in several scandals. In 2011, he was arrested for possession of cannabis, an incident that initially appeared to be a minor infraction, typical of celebrity misbehavior. However, the situation escalated when he was charged by Jamaica's major investigation task force with the murder of local businessman Barrington Burton, a development that shocked his fanbase, although some supporters remained optimistic about his potential acquittal. While incarcerated, Cartel sought to maintain his public image and continued to engage with his audience, releasing a book titled The Voice of the Jamaican Ghetto, in which he asserted that he remained vocal despite his imprisonment. In March 2012, he was granted bail in the Burton case, but shortly thereafter he faced an additional murder charge related to the death of Clive Williams. Although he remained largely silent on the matter, it was evident that he was intent on safeguarding his reputation. An associate, Vanessa Sadler, even alleged that Williams had robbed her, suggesting that he was still alive. The trial for the Williams case was postponed multiple times, ultimately commencing in late 2013. Following an extensive 65-day trial, the longest in Jamaica's history, Cartel was convicted of Williams' murder in 2014 and sentenced to life imprisonment, with the stipulation that he would not be eligible for parole for 35 years. Nevertheless, he continued to produce music, and his fan base remained steadfast in their support. In 2020, his parole eligibility was slightly reduced, yet his conviction remained intact. However, in 2024, the UK Privy Council overturned his murder conviction due to jury misconduct, and the Jamaican Court of Appeal subsequently ruled against a retrial, leading to Cartel's release alongside 3 co-defendants. After years of asserting his innocence and striving to keep the focus on his musical career, he was finally liberated. Ekkamuz. Ekkamuz, a reggae artist hailing from Jamaica, is recognized for his distinctive contributions to the early dancehall genre. Unlike many of his contemporaries who engage in toasting, Ekkamuz distinguished himself with a playful, high-pitched scatting style that resembled a cartoonish vocalization. His musical journey commenced during his college years, where he recorded 2 roots reggae tracks under his birth name, aided by his mathematics tutor, Mr. Denny. His formative musical influences included notable artists such as Pablo Moses. Over time, he collaborated with various sound systems and released an increasing number of singles. In 1979, he adopted the stage name Ekkamuz, inspired by a racehorse on which he frequently wagered, a name that had also been used as a nickname by his peers. Ekkamuz's popularity surged during the 1980s, culminating in the release of his album Economics in 1988, which garnered attention from an international audience. One of the tracks, The Freak, achieved significant success in club settings. Subsequently, he signed with Island Records the following year. In 1991, he released the album Unique, which showcased a fusion of reggae and rock, including a reggae rendition of Led Zeppelin's Dior Maker. That same year, he made appearances in films such as New Jack City, portraying a Rastafarian dealer, and Out for Justice, in which he played a pimp chauffeur. However,
Ekkamuz's narrative took a troubling turn on August 16, 2008, following a performance at the Port of Call restaurant in North Carolina when he was arrested and charged with rape and possession of controlled substances. Initially, he attempted to maintain a low profile, but he failed to appear for his court date, leading to the issuance of a warrant for his arrest with a bond set at $1 million. This development brought his situation into the public eye, and for a period his whereabouts remained unknown. In 2010, it was reported that he was in hiding in the Netherlands. His inability to travel was attributed to various factors, including visa issues and the volcanic eruptions in Iceland. However, his evasion was not permanent. In 2012, Ekkamuz was located in Paraguay without a valid visa and was subsequently deported back to the United States. Upon his return, he faced a comprehensive array of charges including felony kidnapping and possession of controlled substances. In July 2013, he accepted a plea deal in which he did not admit guilt but entered a no-contest plea to lesser charges of assault on a female and attempted crime against nature. Due to the time he had already served in custody, he was released shortly thereafter and deported back to Jamaica.
Don Dumand. Don Dumand, regarded as one of Jamaica's most talented musicians, was a virtuoso trombonist whose contributions significantly shaped the ska genre, which subsequently influenced reggae and dancehall music. As a founding member of the Scatterlights, Dumand's musical prowess was widely acknowledged, with some, including renowned pianist George Shearing, considering him among the top 5 trombonists of his time. His compositions were characterized by deep emotion and creativity, while his distinctive playing style was both haunting and unforgettable. Dumand's musical journey commenced in the early 1950s, initially performing jazz and reggae with Eric Dean's All-Stars, and he soon graced the stages of prestigious clubs in Kingston, such as the Big Bucket and Silver Slipper. However, a pivotal moment occurred in 1964 when he joined the Scatterlights, fully embracing the ska movement, which contributed to the band's legendary status and his own. Concurrently, Dumand became deeply involved in the Rastafari movement, which profoundly influenced both his personal life and musical expression. Despite his extraordinary talent, Dumand grappled with significant personal challenges. Don Dumand, a prominent figure in the music industry, grappled with mental illness for an extended period, having been diagnosed with schizophrenia. He had previously sought treatment at Bellevue Hospital on multiple occasions. The trajectory of his life took a tragic turn in the early 1960s, when he became romantically involved with Margarita Mafu, a gifted dancer and singer associated with Count Ossie's Rastafari commune in the Ika Hills. Their relationship, however, was marked by volatility, as Dumand exhibited abusive behavior, which was observed by those in their social circle. The events culminated on New Year's Eve in 1964, when Dumand failed to appear for a scheduled performance with his band, Skada, at La Parise in Harbour View. Reports indicate that he had inadvertently administered the incorrect medication to Mafu prior to her departure for work that evening. Upon her return home around 3:30 a.m., a violent confrontation ensued, during which Dumand fatally stabbed Mafu 4 times in the chest. Following the incident, he proceeded to the local police station, asserting that Mafu had inflicted the wounds upon herself. However, upon the officers' arrival at the scene, they discovered Mafu's lifeless body on the bed, with the knife still embedded in her chest, and her hand positioned within the bell of Dumand's trombone. The circumstances surrounding the scene were both disturbing and perplexing. Despite Dumand's claims, law enforcement officials were skeptical, primarily due to his established history of abusive conduct towards Mafu. Consequently, he was arrested and subsequently tried for murder. With the assistance of his band's manager, Dumand secured legal representation, and the court ultimately found him guilty but declared him criminally insane. He was remanded to Bellevue Hospital, where he spent the remainder of his life. In 1969, Dumand passed away under enigmatic circumstances within the confines of the hospital. George Nooks. George Nooks is a prominent Jamaican reggae and gospel artist whose musical journey commenced in the church, where he participated in the youth choir.
As he matured, he gained experience by performing at school concerts and talent shows, gradually enhancing his confidence and passion for music. In 1974, Nooks embarked on a professional recording career, initially adopting the stage name Prince Muhammad, under which he achieved early success as a DJ. He collaborated with notable figures such as producer Joe Gibbs and contributed to Dennis Brown's 1978 hits Money in My Pocket and How Could I Leave. Additionally, he recorded tracks like Light Up Your Spliff for producer Prince Tony Robinson. Nooks' distinctive voice and style distinguished him in the industry, leading to further collaborations with esteemed producers like Alvin Wrangling and Bonnie Riley. In 1978, he released his debut album People Are You Ready in partnership with General Echo. Over time, Nooks transitioned from DJing to singing, ultimately embracing gospel music. His 2016 album Ride Out Your Storm achieved significant commercial success, reaching number 4 on the Billboard Reggae Albums chart and number 22 on the Gospel chart. Fans perceived him as a figure who had undergone a transformation from the dancehall scene to gospel music, embodying a shift from secular to spiritual themes. However, beneath this public persona, Nooks faced personal challenges. Concurrent with his musical endeavors, rumors began to circulate regarding his private life. In May 2017, he was stopped by police in St. Andrew, Jamaica, who allegedly discovered a small plastic bag containing illegal substances in his Mercedes-Benz SUV. He was charged with possession and subsequently released on $80,000 bail. In May 2019, the case proceeded to trial, but the court found significant inconsistencies in the evidence, resulting in a not guilty verdict for Nooks. However, shortly before this verdict, in April 2019, he was arrested again during a police operation, with officers alleging that he discarded a capsule containing a white substance. He was detained for 24 hours at Kingston Public Hospital, but no charges were filed, prompting his lawyer to threaten legal action against the police for false imprisonment. The situation escalated in October 2020 when Nooks was rearrested, this time under the scrutiny of the Director of Public Prosecutions. He faced charges not only for possession of illegal substances, but also for attempting to obstruct justice, as police claimed he attempted to swallow evidence during processing. Nooks pleaded not guilty once more, secured bail set at $300,000, and awaited trial. The protracted legal proceedings created a dissonance for fans, who struggled to reconcile the image of a gospel artist with the complexities of his legal troubles.